So I watched this podcast yesterday, and they were talking about the correlation between people that experience a lot of trauma and people that access more elevated states of consciousness, because she kind of noticed this correlation, and she has more of a scientific background, but kind of looking at the correlation or the pattern, recognizing that this happens a lot to people who access more elevated states of consciousness. And I was reflecting on my own experience and tuning into my own intuition and seeing what the correlation is. And through my direct experience, what I recognize is, first of all, older souls or souls that came here to bring this to, they came in more online in a more elevated state, are more in tune with psychic abilities, more in tune with our natural pattern recognition abilities, because of the way I see it is like the difference in frequency shifts the way that we see the world and experience the world. So, but we all have those abilities, and like these people are here just to bring this information in. Those people that came here with that purpose in this incarnation, it's like you have to experience the darkness of this world in order to understand it and to see the patterns. The more that you go through these traumatic experiences or go through the darkness of this world, many are contracted for the soul contract, like contracts beyond this world, you know what I mean, to contracted to experience specific aspects of the darkness. But when you experience it and you're already more sensitive to the energies around you, the people that are considered empaths and things like that, I just see as older souls, more expansive souls, more advanced kind of souls that are here from more elevated realms to bring certain information, to bring certain wisdom and things to help the collective, to help humanity. So, and there's a lot here now because of this massive leap in consciousness. And you can see too, because I do feel that it directly correlates. And I think that people looking more from a scientific perspective, or kind of looking at it from the old paradigm, would kind of see it as, maybe some of those people would see it as, oh, these people kind of just lost it and went crazy, or they needed to escape into this certain belief system and whatever. And maybe there is people that do that. I'm quite sure that there is people that find religion, people that find this, then they kind of get lost in that. But it's like those that have been through so much and have a massive shift in frequency, especially, it's like the trauma also pushes you, because if we're not pushed into a point to heal, most of us are not going to do that. Like if your life has just gone according to plan, and this is also too why I think that this storyline that losing things or experiencing trauma or walking through darkness is bad, and everything is set up to keep us in fear from going through that to the point where we lose things and things like that. People stay in enough fear and they stay driven enough and are caught up enough in the rat race that they don't question or don't look beyond that and don't allow themselves to go into a really dark space. Like, sure, we're all experiencing trauma by being here. This world is inverted, and it is traumatic in itself, the way that it operates. It's upside down. You know, I mean, everything is upside down. It's inverted. It is so contrasted from what we are in our truest form. But in order for us to kind of break out of those patterns, to break through the conditioning, it's like we have to, so much of those experiences kind of break up the conditioned patterns. And I feel that there is a level of, they've found the correlation between traumatizing the population and people kind of staying in enough fear. But when it happens to such a level, it it starts to break through the conditioned patterns. And the more darkness that we experience, the more on a personal level, the more that you see, especially those that have like a natural, ability to recognize patterns, more elevated and older souls that have psychic abilities, that have these abilities online, naturally have a very strong pattern recognition. So it's like you see the patterns of what's happening on a personal level, then you see how they repeat. If you can become the observer and start to look at it from a more collective scale, from a wider perspective, you can start to see how these patterns repeat in all of our systems and how they've been programmed into us, how they've been conditioned into us by this society. And I really feel as well, though, that that's what's happening with this leap in consciousness right now, and why I don't look at any of it as bad, because I've experienced it on a personal level. I went through a 7-year dark night of the soul. I believe that's what we're going through collectively right now. Started around last year. Like we're in like a 7-year dark night period. Like that's what I've sensed intuitively, felt intuitively, and been shown. That's what's happening on a collective level, because after so much of that, there comes a point where you were pushed into the position to do the healing work. When we do the healing work, it clears the space for the energy, the truest energy within us, to start flowing through us. The more those of us that are pushed into that position to heal, and more and more and more and more of us are being pushed into that position collectively now. So this is why, and this energy shifts on the planet and everything are working in perfect sync to create this leap in consciousness for humanity, to create this leap in our evolution as a species, through being pushed, and because it starts to break up those conditioned patterns, you start to see things more clearly. And if you can get into a place of surrender and start to be the observer, the shift in frequency, if you have a massive shift in frequency, which is what I had in 2023, after years and years and years and years of hell, darkness, traumatic situation after traumatic situation, it's like, and I had done a lot of seeking, a lot of healing up to that point, like lots of work I started needing to understand what was going on beyond this, because if it was just this, for some people, they feel safer just looking at it 3D, just looking at and staying in what we've been taught, and all of that feels safer than going outside of that. For me, it became a necessity. I had to look at what was going on beyond this, because if this was all that there is, this can't be, it wouldn't work. You know what I mean? But it's not an escape into that. It is the more that I healed over the years because I needed to heal in order to stay on this planet, because of everything that I had been through, everything that I had taken on, the dark space that I was living in, not wanting to be on this planet for so long. And then I did a lot of spiritual exploration. I took all that stuff in my mind. It became part of what my mind identified with. It became part of the ego. And then in 2023, after more hell, and then things got really, 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 really dark, it was like I reached this point of surrender in December of 2023, where I just went, you know what? I have no idea. I don't know if anything that I took in from this, all this spiritual exploration that I've done in Hinduism, Buddhism, you know what I mean? After my awakening, I explored Christianity a little bit, because there was a lot of themes that lined up with what Jesus taught, and a lot of things that were coming through lined up with what he taught. But it's like through all that, it was like, I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know. And what I know is that this place is effed up. It is really effed up. And because my shifts in frequency were already happening in small little steps, and especially since 2020. So it was kind of like, and the more that you do that, the more that you see clearly what this place is. And you start to see that it's not the lie that we've been sold. And it's maybe it's not what we thought it was, but the more that, and then the shift in frequency really, it shifts perspective. Like for me, it shifted my perspective without me asking it to. It was just like that point of surrender. I don't know if any of that's true. Then it opened this, it's like an energetic portal within me. You know what I mean? Like, and that truest energy started flowing through me. And then all of the information, all the wisdom started coming in, where it was like, oh, then I could see the correlation between all the different teachings. But and when you shift in that way, it's so much easier to become the observer of the darkness. And when you're existing outside of the frequency of that, when you're not enmeshed in it and you're not existing in this same frequency as all of this, as the 3D, as all the darkness that's happening, then it's so much easier to observe it, to see it, because you're not enmeshed in it as much. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's what's happening. That's what's happening on a collective level. Trauma, especially since 2020. You know what I mean? It's just been, but all of that is pushing us in the midst. If you're in the midst of it and you're enmeshed in it, it can feel so overwhelming. You know what I mean? I was in it for 7 years and I was like, oh my God, it just felt like there was no end in sight, and like I would never get out of it. But really, but I see that as the correlation, you know what I mean? Because that's what's necessary to break us out of this one perspective and the way we've been taught to see the world. The more that we shift, the more that we're pushed to heal, those that choose to heal, especially, it clears the space so that this truest energy can start flowing through us, through our physical forms, through, you know what I mean, our bodies, and through that, the way that we see the world automatically shifts. And the Earth's frequency is shifting. The energy that's coming in from the sun, all of that is playing it, and that's been happening for a long time. You know, it's moving us into this leap for those that choose to leap, for those that choose to heal. You know what I mean?